Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to replace this filter. So this one here is ripped. Hopefully you can kind of see that, how my finger can go right through it. So I've got a new filter from West Coast. Looks like this is a newer design. So I'm going to oil up this new filter after I take this one off and get this guy ready to cut. We're going to kind of show you the process. So one thing I was kind of thinking about when I got this new filter is I'm kind of curious to see if just the regular max flow with the cover on it flows better than this one does, because you know, here's your max flow and you can see the thickness of this guy is not real thick. It's got this cage in here, but this one, in order for it to draw any air, it's got to go through pretty much here to here. It's got to draw through all of that area right there. Now it does have a velocity stack on it, but I'm kind of curious if there is another filter out there that's not as thick as this one, that maybe is a little bit more rigid, that would work better with this. And maybe that would involve machining this here down. It is pretty thick, so I probably could machine it down to get another type of filter to work. So that's just a thought for the future. I like this the stack and this tube filter because I can just blow it off and get a couple more tanks out of it. So I just pop a little bit of this oil in here. I'll show you what I'm using. This is oil filter oil for dirt bikes. So I used to have some dirt bikes, and this is what I use, and I had this left over, so that's what I've been using for my chainsaw stuff now, these max flows and all that. So I'm going to put these gloves on because this is kind of messy, and I'm trying to massage the oil into these. Gloves are a little tight, but that's all right. I'm trying to massage the oil into the pores of the filters. So get this on here. That's good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just massage it in. Try to get it all soaked up in there. Kind of squishing it down so it kind of sucks it up. And I should be able to get all of this oil here. And kind of work that filter around. This is why you wear the gloves. This is kind of the same practice that I always use with my dirt bikes. But your purpose for this is you're trying to get all the oil into the filter that you can. Just like that. You can wring it out, but what I like to do is just try to work it in here with my fingers so it gets fully saturated in there. Kind of clean it all out. You see how much I put in there. Just get yourself an old Tupperware like this here. That works pretty good. And I'm just going to use my finger here to wipe everything out. You can see I was getting some sucked in there, some dirt sucked in there. So I'm just going to use my finger to clean it out, wipe it on my pants. Just so we're not sucking in any more fines than we need to. So I'll squish this guy on here. So yeah, so that'll be a future thing. I mean, I like the stack design. I think that it looks cooler for one. I'm gonna put this one farther down. Maybe that's why my other one ripped. That one lasted a long time, by the way. We'll put them on there like that. And since I'm going to run the screwdriver with this hand, make sure it kind of mostly going to be hauling today. My friend's coming up to help me haul. That always makes it go a lot quicker. Really, you should be using a nut driver here, but this will work. It's not super hot out today. It's like 70 right now, but in the sun here, it's pretty warm. And I just get it on there relatively tight. It doesn't need to be super tight. Just enough so it doesn't slide off when you're out in the woods. That's kind of what I'm doing there. So I'll save this clamp, clean him up. This is just a regular pipe clamp, not the one that came with it. So yeah, so this filter lasted quite a while, but you can see it ripped right here. Kind of probably where I was, you know, pushing down. It was hitting my body and it just eventually just ripped right there. But it lasted a long time, so we'll be running this filter here on there now for a while. What I am going to do is I'm going to swap the chain out on this one. I have pretty much I run either a chain for cutting trees down and then another chain for cutting the trees up. It's kind of how I've been doing it. Let's see if I've got a sharp 24. I might. That's a 404 one there. That's also a 404. That one felt pretty good, but that's also a 404. So what I may be doing, depending on when my friend's getting here, I may just sharpen up a chain to, well, that's a 28 right there. I may sharpen a chain, or I may just grind the rakers on a new chain. I haven't. 28 right there. Probably just going to sharpen or take the rakers down on a new chain here. So we'll grab a 14, 20, 20, 20, 20, 25. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to run a 25 on it. I think my other 25 is... I'm going to take the rakers down to 45 thou, just so I'm not having to press on the saw. These, I stopped sharpening the chains, like square grinding them right away, because it kind of wastes some of the chain, you know. So, as you'll see with my cutting today, I'll probably post some shorts, and then I'll you know, put on the title. This is just a out of the box chain. Cuts decent with the rakers, you know, taken down. There we go. Cuts decent with the rakers taken down. It's definitely not like dull, but that's just kind of what I've started doing here. I'm trying to wonder what saw's got my other 24 on it. Let me make sure. Another problem I've been having is the clutch on my 460 Farmer Tech is bad. Alright, so we're back. I just wanted to check, see when my friend's getting here, and wanted to locate that bar real quick. I'm not gonna put this one over here. So I found a chain that I've already square ground. I just didn't take the rakers down on it. So run that one. We're cutting pretty clean wood. So we'll use my little makeshift depth gauge. I know that the thickness of this cardboard is 45 thousandths, and that's what we'll take the chain to. 500i, it's got a little more power. Now, we'll try that right there. We'll do two teeth on the same side. Okay. And we're gonna check that with my straight edge. Right on the corner. Come on. Alright, so I can come down a little bit more. I'm just gonna adjust it back out. We'll come back here. Alright, flip it back, we'll check it again. Now this is not a full square. This was before I kind of made the decision. That's pretty close. We'll run it right there. We'll zip around here. Now keep in mind that it's not perfect, because you know the teeth on the side closest to you are not quite the same as the teeth on the other side, but it's very minimal. It's not going to make your chain cut crooked. The only way I've seen where your chain will cut crooked is if you hit something with one side of the chain. Is the only thing I've seen that does that. So I've got this bar. I'm gonna grease the tip up. I've been trying to grease the tip up every time I pop a chain on it. Doesn't happen every time, but that's what my goal has been here lately. And oh, I do have a tool out here. Cool. We also are gonna need, ooh, that wasn't good. I don't like dragging my fresh and sharp chain, letting it touch the ground, but it'll be okay. Need the air out here. Need the end. Air gun end. Really annoying that that's constantly put in a different spot. Now it's over here. I need to just make a little holder that just holds this on here, because see, the bad thing about these Harbor Freight air hose ends is they leak. So then your air compressor's always running, or it's empty. You know, that slow leak. So we'll pop this chain on here quick. we'll get going. Mostly hauling, but I'd like to have one saw that's sharp and ready to go. I also have my 400C, but the 500 or my 460 Farmer Tech is faster. My 400C does good, but it's just not as fast in, you know, like 12, 14-inch plus wood. So I run one of these little bigger saws that's been modified for those situations. Run a 7-tooth. Get the best tooth life out of a 7. So that's what I've been running. Just run the rakers more aggressive. You can run an 8, but it's hard on... An 8 is hard on chains. My little saw blade here to clean out the rails. Always clean the rails out when I change chains. At minimum, you got to clean out this slot here, because then you're not getting any oil. It's a Canon Duralite is what that is. That bar has cut a lot of wood. No complaints. Never touched the rails on it. They don't have any sharp edges on them, but I also don't run my chains super tight. My rule for how I run the chain, now when you run a longer bar and you're cutting limbs and stuff, you got to run the chain a little tighter so it doesn't derail and come off on you. But with the shorter bar, like 24 or less, you can run the chain a little bit looser and get away with it with less wear. I don't run the chain loose, but I like the chain to not come to an abrupt stop when I let off the throttle. I'd rather not see that. I feel that that's energy that's lost. Just extra resistance just to spin the chain. So I just run the chain. Just, you know, you kind of got to get good at setting it up, and sometimes you need to adjust a little bit. So I'm gonna tighten it up. The bar will move over, so that'll probably be about right. Oops. And I'll just use my scrunch to check it. That's pretty good. It'll probably need to be tightened up a little bit, but we'll run it like that for now. This is a new chain too, so it's not really beneficial to be really trying to dial in the tension when you got a new chain. Now we'll grease the tip up here. Let me blow that out. You can get these tip greasers at Lowe's or your hardware store. They always seem to have them. I'll rotate the chain. I never really like touching the chain with my hands. And we got plenty of grease coming out, so we'll call that good. So, was just going to be a short video here. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching.